we have not created, you know, an additional scheduler. Let's do that.
Okay.
Go one step back and select option 2, create a domain. So process scheduler and application server, they both work on Tuxedo. So configuration wise and option wise, they're pretty similar, right? So it is asking you for the domain name. Let's give HCMDMO. HCMDMO. Press enter. Yeah. So just like you saw quick configure menu in application server, you have similar menu in process scheduler as well. So the first column, option 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, these are toggle values. So you can toggle them, and set it to yes or no, right? And the second column, option 10, 11, 12, those are, text inputs. So you'll have to type manually. So for example, the first option, application engine server, if it is yes, it would start PSAE-SRV. So PSAE-SRV is the process which runs application engine. So if this is selected as yes, it would start PSAE-SRV. If it is selected no, then it will skip that process. It will not start that process. The second option is master scheduler. So for your database, there can be only one master scheduler. So we already have one master scheduler, which is our existing domain, PRCS something, right? PRCS DOM. So we have to make this no. So let's type option 2. So it is now toggled to no. Right, so there can be only one master scheduler. If you try to bounce this, like if you try to start this, it will give you an error if you select this as master scheduler as well, right? So there cannot be multiple master schedulers. There can be only one master scheduler. Third option is for collecting the performance metrics, which is used in PPM, performance monitor. So let's turn that off. We don't need that. Option number 3. Yeah. Domains gateway, it is always no. Push notifications, if you want to use the feature of push notifications, you have to turn this option yes. So this is generally, like your development team would ask you to turn on this. So it is not a mandatory process, but if you use push notifications in your application, then your development team might ask you to turn this option on, right? So for in our case, we'll keep it no. Sixth is real-time indexing, which is used in your search framework, right? So when you are doing some transaction, uh, you know your transactional data or your navigations are indexed in open search, right? So if you need real-time indexing, like you clicked a button and that detail should be indexed, if you need that real time, then you have to keep this option yes. If you don't want real time and if you are okay to run indexing process separately, then you don't need this option number 6. And so in our case it does not matter because we are not installing OpenSearch or Elasticsearch. So if it is no or yes, it does not really matter. Okay, option number 10 is the database name. Let's change that.
Database name. This one
Yeah,
is it?
right. DB type is Oracle PRCS server. This option number 12 is the name of your scheduler. So the Unix schedulers, they are named PS Unix, PS Unix 1, 2, something like this. And your Windows schedulers are named PSNT, PSNT1, NT2, something like that. So in our case, this name is okay because the other scheduler has a different name. Can you log in into the application? PIA. Go to Process Monitor.
In a
Go to People Tools
process.
and then Process Scheduler and Process Monitor.
Oh, okay. Process scheduler, process monitor. Yeah.
Click on Server List. So currently you can see there is only one server and its name is PRCS9518, right? So, but this is not a user-friendly name. Like it's not a good name.
Mm-hmm.
In your case, I mean, when you are setting this up for an organization, you would name it PS Unix, PS Unix 1, PS Unix 2,
Mm-hmm.
something which is easy to remember, right?
Oh,
So when you start the second domain, second process scheduler domain, that is going to appear here in the list. So currently there is only one domain, PRCS9518. When you start the other domain, PSUNX will also appear here.
okay.
Let's go to the server. Yeah. User ID, option number 13. That should be PS.
PS
So it
capital.
is, yeah, capital. So it is your application user which has access to start the domains, right? So
Mm-hmm.
generally it's a high privilege user, right? So which is PS in our case.
Mm-hmm.
Type option number 14 and give the password for PS.
Yep.
Option number 15, connect ID, people. So as you can see, configuration wise, your application server and process scheduler are similar. So your application server also needs your database name, database type, user ID, password, connect ID, connect password. Same details are needed for process scheduler as well.
Oh, no, 16 is the password. Yep.
Right. 17th option is like we are not going to change that. So log output folder is a temporary folder where log files are generated. So when you
Mm-hmm.
run a process, initially it would write the logs in log output folder. And then when it is posted, when the process is posted, it transfers the logs from log output to PS reports, right, to your web server. So
Yeah.
log output is a temporary folder where your log files are created, and
Mm-hmm.
we keep it as default. Like we are not going to change this path. Same goes for SQR bin. So SQR is a type of process in PeopleSoft, and to run that, you have to provide this bin path of SQR. So we don't
Mm-hmm.
change this. So SQR is a type of process, and to run that, you need some SQR binaries. So SQR bin is the path of your SQR binary,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we don't change this value. We keep it as default. Option number 19, add to path, which is similar to your application server's configuration. So if you are integrating a third party application or third party software, if you want to include the bin path of that third party application into your process scheduler, you can mention that path here. So
Mm-hmm.
add to path will contain path of bin folders of your third party software, right? So currently we don't have any software to include, and it is very rare. I mean, it is not a common practice to add, like change this parameter. This parameter is not changed widely. And option number 20 is for health center, PHC remote admin settings. So this section is same as your PS tools. So we saw that remote administration was enabled in application server. Do you remember that? Remote
Yeah, yeah.
administration to one, and then ID and password. All those details are required for your health center. So if you want to set those options, you can choose option 20. But in our case, it is not applicable. So we'll skip that. Okay, we are ready to test this. Do one thing. Can you make master scheduler as yes? Second option, make it yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. And press 7, load configuration as shown. Yeah. Now try to boot this domain. Did it get started? Okay. Can
Yeah.
you go to the existing domain, go one step back, go to administrator domain, and go to the first option, PRCS DOM, and go to configure this domain. Say yes. Okay, so this is also a master scheduler. So generally there is only one master scheduler per database. So if you're if you have one application, you generally have only one master scheduler.
Mhm.
But it's able to boot. I mean, that's not common.
Mhm.
Okay, start this as well. Press 7 and you can boot this.
Taking the color should be failed. Am I right?
Sorry.
Should be failed, is it?
Yeah, I thought it would fail, but it has not failed. I mean, you were able to boot both the domains as master schedulers, right? But like the common practice is that you have only one master scheduler per database.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Maybe in a version 8.61.
Not sure. Anyway, like ideally there should be only one master scheduler. So the
But
purpose of
anyway,
master scheduler is,
the previous one is the 7 process, this one 9 process.
yeah, so there might be some for example, if you see the second process, PSPPM SRV,
Mhm.
if you see the list of started processes, the second process is PSPPM SRV, right?
Yeah, it's a master.
No, 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 not
Is it?
that one. First process is RTI SRV. Can you take your cursor to the first process? Yeah, RTI SRV is real-time indexing. Okay. Second is
Yeah.
PPM SRV, which is for performance monitor.
Oh,
So
yeah,
we
yeah.
have disabled
Okay.
that. Yeah. So we have disabled that on our domain, right? So that's why that process has
I
not started.
got it, got it.
And yeah, can you scroll up? Let's see what other processes started on the second scheduler. Yeah, wait. So master process, okay, real-time indexing is also switched off. So that is the second process that has not started.
Yeah, yeah, correct. Got it, got it.
Okay, so our process scheduler is up. Go to PIA and refresh this page. Yeah. So as you can see, your scheduler has appeared here, but if you see the status says running with no report node. And see, okay, now so even like you had made both the schedulers master schedulers, right? But here it has,
Just one of them
oh,
hid
okay,
as a
okay,
master.
I got it, I got it. So the scheduler which starts first becomes the master. The second scheduler which starts will become master only if the first one goes down.
Got it
You got it,
for
right? So
yeah, load
earlier,
balance or redundancy.
right, kind of, yes. So right now our master scheduler is PSUNX, but if PSUNX goes down, then PRCS 9518 will become the master.
Got it.
Okay. Now the status for the second scheduler is running with no report node. And when it runs with no report node, that means your processes will not be posted, right? The distribution will not be done because your report node is not assigned. So
Mhm,
let's assign that value. Let's go to the server definition. So click on, no, not here. In PIA,
mhm.
click on the navbar. Yeah. Now click on servers, process scheduler servers. Yeah, below report nodes. Just below report nodes, there is process scheduler servers. Click on that and click enter or click on search. Yeah, and click on PRCS 9518.
This one.
Yep, the existing one. Go to distribution. Yeah. So here you can see that the node name is PRCS 9518. Can you copy that?
Yep.
And maximum retries are 3 and interval is 60, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now click on return to search and open PSUNX. Go to distribution. Yeah. Here the details are blank. Let's fill this. Paste the value in the node name. Yeah. Interval 60 and check that box, transfer system files. Click on save. Yeah. Now go back to process monitor, server list, click on refresh. It's still it's still running with no report node. So we'll have to bounce this to reflect the change. Right. So
Mhm.
currently PSUNX is the master scheduler. Right. So let's see if that switches when we bring PSUNX down. So bring PSUNX down.
This one.
This one. This is the existing domain. Go to HCM DMO and shut down that domain. Okay, go to PIA and click on refresh. Let's see if the master scheduler switches. Yes, it has switched.
Yeah.
Now bring the PSUNX up, start that domain. So this also runs on Tuxedo. So the way it starts is very similar to application server.
Mhm.
So first the APL process starts and then other processes start.
Cool.
Let's to the page, click on refresh.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
running.
now the system is running. Okay, so we're good with process scheduler. So we'll test the whole setup, once I mean, we'll leave process scheduler for now and we will jump
Mhm.
to web server. So we will create one more domain of web server. So that will complete domain creation, right? So we'll
Mhm.
already created application server. We have created process scheduler. Now we will create a web server, right? And after that, we will test the whole setup. Like I'll show you how to run sample processes, how to check the report node and other stuff.
Cool.
Okay. Before that, do you want to go to the configuration of process scheduler, detailed configuration? Let's quickly go through that so that you
Cool.
know what all sections are there in process scheduler. Press option 6, first option, edit domain configuration file. Yeah. So as you can see, it is very, very similar to application server. So first section is startup, where you have your database name. And if you have a standby database, then you can provide those details as well. And
Mhm.
when you have a standby database, some of the processes, like reporting processes like PS query, they would run on your read-only database, right?
Mhm.
So if you have that kind of setup where you have a read-only database, standby database, you can give that information here,
Mhm.
right? Then, these sections are pretty similar to application server. Next is security, where you have domain connection password. So we have not set any password for this domain, right? It is blank. But if
Mhm.
you want, you can set domain connection password for the whole domain.
Mhm.
Next is inter-domain events. We usually don't change this port number unless there is a conflict, right? So generally it works fine. We don't have to touch this section. Next is database options. So this section is also not changed generally, right? So we go with the default values. Scroll down. Next section is trace. So if you want to set a global trace for all the processes, then you would change these parameters. So there is only one option, trace SQL. There is no mask. So in application server, you had two values,
Ma
trace
yeah,
SQL
mask.
and mask. But here you just have global setting. If you turn this on, it will generate trace for all the processes. But if you have to generate trace for a specific process, then you can do that through PIA. You don't have to change the configuration file. So I'll show you how to do that in PIA, how to set the trace. From here in the configuration file, you can set a global trace. You
Mm.
got it? You got it, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So the first section is for SQL. Next is for people code, trace PC. Scroll down. Next one is for application engine, AE. Right? And then you have AET file size. AET is the trace file for application engine. So AET stands for application engine trace. So you can
Mm.
set the file size as well, right? Minimum value. You can change that if you want to, but I mean, generally it is not required,
Mm.
right? Scroll down. Then you have some performance monitor trace field, trace PPM. Then comes process scheduler section. So the first parameter, PRCS server name, which is PSUNX in this case, is the name of your scheduler which will appear in PIA. So in PIA, we see PSUNX. We don't see HCMDMO, right? Even
Yeah.
though the domain name is HCMDMO, we see PSUNX because PSUNX is the process server name in the configuration file. So if you
Mm.
want, you can change this value. right? Like you can have any name for your scheduler, but generally the Unix schedulers are named PSUNX, PSUNX 1, 2, 3, something like this, right? Next, so there are other parameters as well, which are, kept mostly default, right? But if you want to change them, just read through the description and you can, understand and then change them.
Mhm.
Now there is allow dynamic changes. So if you want to allow dynamic changes, you can set it to Y, right? It is recommended generally in development environment where you might, want to change the trace parameters or some other parameters dynamically. And log output directory, it is server directory slash log output. So your process scheduler domain slash log output. This is the temporary folder where your log files are stored, right? Scroll down. Most of the parameters are not changed, right? So usually you would change allow dynamic changes. This log fence can be changed. So by default, log fence is equal to 3, which is your default logging level. But if you want to generate more logs in the log files, you can increase it up to 5.
Yep.
Same as your application server.
Yeah. So
Scroll down. So you have log size limit and other parameters. Scroll down. Scroll down. Interface driver, PS tools. So PS tools is a general section. So if you have enabled ppm srv, performance monitor, then you have to set the values in this section. So you have to allow remote administration and give id and password, user id and user password, and it will start a process called rmi registry on this particular port 10200. so in case of application server, it was 10100. In process scheduler, it is 10200, right? So
mm,
if you look at your processes, there would be two RMI registry processes. One should be running on 10100 for application servers, and one should be running on 10200 for process schedulers,
mm,
right? And this section is modified when you are setting your performance monitor or health center, right?
mhm,
Scroll down. Then you have your Java options. So this is the common Java options. If you're not happy with the heap size, you can, like, if you're facing issues with the current heap size, you can modify it, you can increase it.
mm,
Scroll down. DB flags, and then there is individual section for all the processes. So the first section is PSAE which is responsible to run application engines. Maximum instances is 3. So if you want more PSAE SRV, you can increase this number. Recycle count is 1000, which means after running 1000 application engines, it will recycle itself. It will kill itself and start a new process,
mm,
right? Next is process restart memory limit, which you already know. If you want to restart a process based on the memory limit, the RAM that it is consuming, you can set this parameter. So say if you want to restart a process when it consumes 2 GB, you can set this value to 2 GB. So when
mm.
it reaches that threshold, it would restart itself.
Mm.
Got it?
Yeah.
Then allow consecutive service failures is 2. At schedule query dirty read equal to 0. We don't change that. Scroll down. Next section is DST SRV, which is for your distribution, for posting. So here minimum instance is 1, maximum is 2. If you feel this number should be more, you can change these values. Recycle count is 0, which means it will never be recycled. All right.
Mm,
If you want to recycle it after a few uh, transfers, you can set it to some value, maybe 1000 or 10,000. right? Then process restart memory limit, same as you know, like if you want to recycle it based on memory, you can set that parameter. Scroll down. Next is RTI SRV. So here also you have similar kind of parameters, minimum instance, maximum instance, and log fence. Then SQR. SQR is a special kind of PeopleSoft process which uses a third party uh, software. So your bin path, SQR bin path, should be set into this variable SQR bin. So by default, PeopleSoft provides you the binaries. So we don't usually change this value. But if you have a separate installation, you can point it to that installation. But generally, it is not changed. It points to the SQR bin path in your PS home, right? Then SQR flags, we don't change this. So there are many, like there are different files starting with PSSQR, right? So I'll show you these files. Can you open a new session in a separate? Yeah. Go to PS home, $PS home. Then go to SQR in small case, CD SQR, enter. ls star dot unx.
R U N
Yeah,
dot
start
dot
dot
U.
unx. Yes, enter. So as you can see, there are different files for different languages, right? So say for Arabic, you have pssqrara.unx, right? Similarly, for other languages, for Greek, you have pssqrgrk.unx, right? For different languages, you have different configuration files for SQR, right? So if you look at the configuration, go to the first tab. It says SQR flags. Look at the SQR flags. What does it say? It says ps home slash sqr slash ps sqr and then language code dot unx. So based on the language code of your PeopleSoft application, it will pick up the correct configuration file. So if your selected language is Arabic, then it would select pssqrara.unx. You got it? You got it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So if you have English as your language in the application, it would go for the default one, pssqr.unx, right? So yeah, that's all. So this is the SQR section. Next is data mover, right? So we usually don't change these paths. They are kept as default, right? So data mover section is when you execute data mover scripts, it would use these parameters.
Yeah, yeah.
Remote remote call is for COBOL, right? So if you want to generate trace, you can turn this RCCBL redirect equal to 1. So currently it is 0. You can set it to 1 if you need more trace. The last parameter in this section. Yeah. The next is SMTP settings, which is similar to application
Yeah.
server. So you can configure two SMTP servers, the primary one and the backup one. Scroll down. Cache settings, nothing to be changed here. Scroll down. I think that's it. This is the end of the file. Integration broker. Oh, you
Yeah.
have monitor serve and LDAP. Yeah, that's it. And so it looks similar to application server. So
Mhm.
you have, if you, oh, sorry. Can you go to the configuration file? I missed the last part, which is Envision. So Envision, go to the end. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, this one. So Envision is another special process which relies on external files. So just like SQR relies on SQR files, Envision has its own layouts and some macros. So Envision report is basically an Excel report where you can do more stuff than regular Excel. So you can drill down and say you have a report at business unit level and you want to drill down to say project level. You can there are it's a special kind of report. So you can click on the plus sign and then again plus sign, and you can drill down to the starting from the high level to the lowest level.
Mhm.
So you know so there is a PeopleSoft process called Envision, and that process is going to use these parameters. So for example, the first one, drill down directory, that is pointing to your app home and your PS home Envision layout drill down. So nothing to be concerned about. I mean, from admin's perspective, you just need to make sure these folders are set. That's it. And these folders exist. That's it. Like your development team is going to develop the layout files and your drill down files, all of that. You don't have to worry about, the files, actual files. You just need to make sure that these folders exist. That's it.
Mhm.
Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Close this file and let's jump to the web server. Go to the web server menu.
Mm. C3.
Go to create a domain. First option, create a domain. Change option number 1, domain name. So the menu for web server is different than application server and process scheduler
Mm.
because this one is based on WebLogic. So your web server gets created via WebLogic, and your application server and process scheduler domains, they work on Tuxedo. So they are
Mhm.
two different softwares. So this is basically a Java web server which you are going to create.
Mm.
So can you change the domain name?
To
Okay,
what?
so yeah, HCMDM. You can use the same name for all your go for capital letters, just like you did in application server and process scheduler. Yeah, enter, press enter. So you can use the same name for application server, process scheduler, and your web server. You
Mm.
know, all the domain names you can use the same name.
Cool.
Next is okay. Option 2 is WebLogic. That is correct. So PeopleSoft supports WebLogic, and PeopleSoft also supports IBM WebSphere. So if your PeopleSoft application is on IBM servers, AIX servers, then you might want to use WebSphere as your web server, right? So it supports both WebLogic and WebSphere. In our
Mhm.
case, we'll go with WebLogic. So option 2 is correct. Now, third option, web server root directory. That should be pointing to the parent folder of your WebLogic installation.
Mhm.
So currently it is pointing to OPT Oracle, which is incorrect. So we'll have to find out where WebLogic is installed, and then we'll give the parent folder path, right? Go to the second session
Mhm.
and go 2 steps back. LS, go to BIA folder, first folder. LS. So you see WL server is the WebLogic installation,
Mhm.
right? So WL server is where your WebLogic is installed. So the parent folder of WL server is the BIA folder, correct?
Mhm.
Can you type PWD? Yeah.
Would be
So
this.
copy this path. Yeah. Copy this path. This is the parent folder of your WebLogic installation, right? So
Mhm.
that's going to be the root directory of your WebLogic. This BIA folder is the root directory of WebLogic. So let's use that path. Go to the first session and select
Three.
web server root directory and give that path. Enter. Now, if you give this path incorrect, your web server will not be created,
Mm.
right? Because it will not find the WebLogic files, right, to create your web server. So if this path is incorrect, your WebLogic web server is not going to be created. Okay.
Good.
Now, next is WebLogic login ID, which is system. Let's set the password, option 5. Go for option 5 and see what password you have set for the first domain. System.
This one.
Yeah. Enter. Paste it again. Enter.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, website name is PS. We can go with that because the website name for the existing domain is also PS. And I'll
Mhm.
tell you where you can find this. Go to PIA, look at the URL. After PSP, after PSP, it is PS. So
Mm.
PS is your website name. And this
Mm.
website name will appear in all the URLs after PSP or PSC, right? Can you log in into the application? If you look at the URL, you have PSC/PS. So in your URLs, application URLs, you will find the website name after PSP or PSC.
Mm.
Got it?
Yeah.
Go back to the server. Now, application server, which is pum01.ps.com, which is correct. JSL port 9000, yeah, that is also correct. So here you have to choose only one application server. But if you want to add more application servers, then you will have to edit the configuration file.
Mm.
So if you remember, for the first domain, we had added an additional application server in the configuration. Do
Yep.
you remember?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So here, while creating the domain, you can select only one application server, and later you can add multiple servers through, by editing the configuration file. Okay, so let's keep it PUM01 and 9000, which is fine. HTTP port, option number 9,
Mhm.
you have to select a value in 8000 range. So for the current web server, the value is, the port number is 8000, right?
Yep.
Could you go to PIA and
Yes.
look at the, it's 8000. Yeah. So let's choose 8100 for this domain. Go for option 9.
8.
8100.
Mhm.
And HTTPS port 8143. Option number 10,
Mhm.
change it to 8143. So if you enable SSL on your web server, then you can use HTTPS port, right?
Yeah.
So currently we are using HTTP port, right? But if when you install SSL, you can start using your HTTPS port. Okay, now authentication token is blank, and we'll keep it blank because we want to access the website using IP address. So
Mhm.
if you have a domain name, you can give the parent domain. So for example, if your website is abc.ps.com, your authentication token domain would be .ps.com, right?
Yep.
So the parent domain of your website. Okay, now web profile prod, that is fine. Web profile user ID PT web server. Let's set the password, option 14. Check the password for PT web server. Same PT web server. Enter. Now integration gateway ID administrator. Let's set the password for admin. Option number 16. Enter. Type it again. Did you paste it?
Something happened.
Okay, I think it is not visible. You did re-enter it, but
Okay.
app server connection password is blank. We have not set any domain connection password, right? So we can keep it blank. And
Mhm.
SSL keystroke password. Change option number 18.
Mhm.
Look at what you have. Check the notepad
Oh,
file.
oh, this
Keystore
one.
password. Yeah.
HCM. Oh, my.
Okay. So now option number 19 is your reports directory where your reports are going to be posted. So this
Mhm.
should be pointing to your PS reports folder. Go to the second session and go to PS CFG home. Type CD space dollar PS underscore CFG underscore home.
Uh, PS
PS underscore
underline.
G
Yeah.
underscore
Oh,
home. Yeah. Enter. Type ls. There is PS reports directory. Go to PS reports. Type pwd and copy this path. Enter. Yeah. That's it. So these are the details which are required. So here you do not need the database information. You just need the application server information
mhm.
because web server is going to connect to only application server, right? And then
Yep.
application server will connect to the database. So in the web server configuration, you'll just have information of the application server that it wants to connect to. right? And yeah, it will ask for these passwords and your reports directory.
Mhm.
Okay, let's go with option C, create this domain. Press enter.
Created.
Great. Go to administrator domain.
Mhm.
Go to first HCM DMO and boot this domain. Okay. Test it in your browser. Go to the browser and type the IP address and 8100 port number.
Back.
Because 9000 is the Jolt port for the HCM DMO domain. We have to make sure that is up.
The second one, is it?
Yep. You
Yeah,
got
yeah.
it right. So the first web server which is running on 8000 and the second web server which is running on 8100, you can keep both these web servers behind a load balancer so that if one goes down, the other one can still serve the users, right? So
Yep.
your website is always available. So we
Mm.
will not be able to test that scenario, right? We don't have a load balancer. So, but we've created the domains, web server and application server. Now
Yeah, yeah,
let's do.
I saw within our domain we have a load
Okay.
balancer, SSL
Okay.
certificate and a load balancer, but we have two different things.
Right. Let's do one thing. Let's stop all the new domains that we have created so that we don't put, unnecessary load.
Mhm.
Bring down the application server, HCM DMO. Bring down HCM DMO, application server, process scheduler, and web server, all three.
This one is application. Process scheduler. Okay. S- So,
Okay. Now we will look at the configuration files of the web servers, the web server.
mhm.
Okay, let's come out of this menu and go to configuration home, CFG home.
Mhm.
go to ps underscore cfg underscore home. Yeah, type ls. So here you can see there are two folders: app serve, which has your application server domain, and inside that you also have your process scheduler domain, right, in prcs folder. And you have
Mm-hmm.
a web server folder which has your web server domains.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to web serve. Type ls. You can see there are two domains, PeopleSoft and HCMDMO.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Let's go to PeopleSoft. ls. Now most of the things of web server are done through configuration files. I mean, if you want to modify something, you would go to your configuration home and modify the files.
Mm-hmm.
In case of application server and process scheduler, you usually go to ps admin and change the configuration there. You don't edit the configuration file directly. But in case
Mm-hmm.
of web server, you you generally edit the configuration files directly. So I'll show you the main configuration files. So the first one is config.xml, which is inside config folder. Go to config, ls. So there is config.xml. Open
Mm-hmm.
that, open that file. So it has some really important information, and uh, the main information that you might want to change later is HTTP and HTTPS ports. So your port numbers are stored in config.xml. Search for listener in small case, type slash and then listener in small case. I think only listen. LISTEN. Yeah. Well, the first listen port is your HTTPS port. Type
Mm-hmm.
enter,
Type what?
enter. Press enter key
Mm-hmm.
and then press N, letter N.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The second listen port is your HTTP port. So there are two entries in this file. First one is for HTTPS, second one is for HTTP.
Mm-hmm.
Got it?
Yep.
And you can, so the SSL settings are also stored in config.xml, but they are changed via WebLogic console. So I'll show you what WebLogic console is, right? But for now, just understand that in this file, if you want to change the port numbers of the application, you would come to config.xml and change these values. Listen
Mm-hmm.
port. Got it?
Yeah.
Close this file. Go one step back. Now type find dot hyphen name weblogic.xml in small case. Weblogic.xml. Enter. This is the second file, second configuration file, and we are interested in portal.war, the third entry, third result.
This one.
Yeah. So portal.war is the web application for online transactions, your PIA, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we changed the configuration for PIA only. Like mostly we change it for PIA. If it is related to integration broker, then you would change in psigw.war folder.
Mhm.
So for PIA, you would change portal.war. For integration, you would change psigw.war. Okay, open that file.
Mm.
You missed, no, no, no. Go back. You missed the the dot in the beginning. Yeah. Now, weblogic.xml stores the cookie name which tracks your WebLogic session. So when you log in, there is a session ID which is generated by WebLogic.
Mhm. Mhm.
That session ID is stored in a cookie, and that cookie name is stored in this configuration file. So if you look at the cookie name, it is pum01.ps.com 8000 portal psj session ID, right? That's the cookie name which stores your session ID. If you, so there are some scenarios where you have to change the cookie name, right? For
Mhm.
example, when you put multiple web servers behind a load balancer, you want to enable something called cookie persistence or cookie stickiness. Okay, let
Mhm.
me share the screen. I'll- So say you have three web servers, web 1, web 2, and web 3. And they are on different machines, right? So they all use the same port, 8000 port, right? And they use same 8000 port, but they are on different machines. So say this is on host 1, this is on host 2, and this is on host 3. Clear till now?
Yep.
Now, when you create a web server, your cookie name in weblogic.xml is in a specific pattern. So it is something like host 1 hyphen 8000 hyphen psj session id, right? Can you look
Mhm.
at the name in weblogic.xml on your
Yep.
screen? What is it? It should be something like pum01 and then 8000, then psj session id.
Portal hyphen PSG. Yeah.
Correct? So basically, this cookie name is auto generated based on your host name and the port number that you have used, which
Mhm.
means this cookie name is going to be different for all three web servers. So for this one, it would be this. For the second one, it would be host 2. And for the third one, it is going to be host 3.
Mhm.
Clear till now?
Yep.
Yeah. Now, say you have a load balancer, and behind the load balancer, you have web 1, 2, and 3.
Mhm.
Now, the requirement of PeopleSoft is that if user 1 got connected to web 1, he should be connected to web 1 throughout the session. So in the mid session, if the request goes to web 2 by mistake, he is going to be logged out,
Mhm.
which means once user 1 is logged in on web 1, all other requests for user 1 should go to web 1 only, right? If it goes to web 2 by mistake, then user 1 is logged out, which is not desired. This is not what you would want, right?
Yep.
User should not be logged out. And this feature is called session stickiness, which means once the session is generated on web 1, it should stick to web 1 throughout the session. You got it?
Yep.
Till now it is clear, right?
Yeah.
To achieve this, one of the way is cookie persistence. This is one of the way to achieve this session stickiness. So what we do is we track a cookie. We track a cookie and its value, right?
Mm.
And based on the cookie name and cookie value, the load balancer makes sure that it goes to the same web server. Now, how it works, I'll show you. So say your cookie name is say S cookie, right?
Mm.
And say this S cookie is web 1 is going to set, say web 1, you have web 2, and you have web 3, and this S cookie is common between all three, and web 1 is going to set this cookie as val 1, this as val 2, and this as val 3. Clear till now?
Yep.
Now when the user connects to web 1 in his browser, this cookie S cookie is set to val 1. Now the next time when the request goes, this cookie is also sent with the request, right? So load balancer knows, okay, if it is val 1, it should go to web 1. With each request, each HTTP request, your cookies are sent. You're aware of that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the load balancer checks what is the value of S cookie. What is the value of S cookie? If it is val 1, it should go to web 1. If it is val 2, it would go to web 2. This is what your load balancer does. It basically tracks the cookie name and the value. Got it? It's a simple logic.
Yeah.
Did you
This session load balancing is generated this token for each. Yeah. I know.
right? Now, to achieve this, this cookie name should be same on all the web servers, right? You cannot have something like this as cookie 1, as cookie 2, as cookie 3. This is not going to work because
Mm.
load balancer is going to check only one cookie for all the web servers. You got it?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it should have a common name. This should be S cookie, S cookie, S cookie on all three web servers so that load balancer can check what is the value in this cookie. If this cookie has val 1, it would go to web 1, val 2, web 2, val 3, web 3. You got it?
Yeah.
So the condition is the cookie name should be same on all the web servers. And here comes the modification. So if you want to achieve cookie persistence in your web servers, in your weblogic.xml, you will have to change the cookie name to say HCM DMO and then PS JSession ID. You have to change the cookie name from this host 1, host 2, host 3 to a common name. It should be same name on all the web servers. Did you
Okay.
get it?
Yeah.
So this is the use case where you would change this file weblogic.xml. So if your load balancer team asks you for the cookie name, you have to provide this value, which
Mm.
you have set manually in the weblogic.xml file. And okay, you can come out of this file. And the third file, which is an important configuration file, is configuration.properties. Issue the find command, type find.name config star.prop star.
Prop like
Prop,
that.
P-R-O-P, prop
Mm-hmm.
star. P-R-O-P, P for parrot.
PROP.
O-P, yes, star. Enter. Yeah. We're interested in the second file, configuration.properties in portal.war. Open the second file.
This one.
Sorry, I think there is some lag. Have you opened the second file?
Yeah.
Okay. Still not reflected. Let me wait for a few seconds. Can you do some activity like move your cursor? Your screen is stuck. Could you reshare your screen? Yeah, now I'm able to see. Okay, so this is the third file and a very important file. So in this
Mm-hmm.
file, you give the application server details, right? So if you look at this PS
Mm-hmm.
server equal to pum01, right? So that
Mm-hmm.
line decides which application server your web server is going to connect to,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then there is a parameter called jolt pooling equal to true, which means you're going to use the same jolt connection for multiple sessions. So you are going to pool, just like carpool, where you share a single vehicle, you share a single jolt connection for multiple sessions, right? Then you have your key store password in this file, right? So for SSL connection, your key store password is stored here.
Mm-hmm.
Next is your domain connection password. So if your application server has a domain connection password, you have to give that password here, right? So that your web server can connect to that domain.
Mm-hmm.
Then scroll down, web profile, very important. So this line tells the web server which web profile should it be using, right? So you can select from the available web profiles. You can create a new web profile as well. So in PIA, you can define the web profile and then use that web profile name here, right? Then web user ID is PT web server. So all these values are in encrypted format. So web user ID is PT web server, web password is PT web server's password, right? Then you have report repository path, which is your PS reports path, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think these are the important parameters in this file. So this is also a very important file. So if you have to change anything, related to your application server connection or your PT web server password is changed, then you'll have to modify this file.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Let's come back from this file, close this file. Okay, now I'll show you. So you saw some encrypted strings in the configuration, right? You might
Yeah,
ask,
correct.
from where would you encrypt it? So I'll show you the utility which is used to encrypt the passwords. So type ls. There is a folder called PIA bin. Go to PIA bin,
PIA bin, yeah.
type ls. There's a utility called pscipher.sh. Second column, second row. Yeah,
There is.
yeah. Execute that and type something after the sh. After sh, type hello space and then hello. Enter. So this is the encrypted text for hello,
Mm.
right? So you can encrypt your strings like this and then use the encrypted text in your configuration files.
So we can encrypt it here and then put it in. Got it?
Right.